Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Saubhagya from Oxford Institute of Medical Sciences and Research Center. Today we will study about the lesions of the eyelid, that too especially chalazion and other differential diagnosis for the swellings in the eyelid. Chalazion is a non-suppurative granulomatous lesion involving the meibomian glands or the tarsal glands of the eyelids. It is slowly progressive, starts as a small nodule with or without pain and progresses slowly to reach the size of the marble sometimes. And this may or may not present with the pain anytime. Patient when it's small may not notice at all, and when it becomes big, they may start observing there is a difference in the eyelid. The characteristic features of the chalazion includes it's a painless swelling which is present away from the lid margin and it's free from the skin and it moves freely under the skin. It's more common in children and adults and most frequently occurs in the people aged between 30 to 50, and they may be underlying refractive error and diabetic mellitus conditions. As we all know, the glands, the tarsal glands are present deep in the tarsal plate and duct drains to the margin of the lids. Normally we find the chalazions are away from the lid margin, but when the chalazion grows into the duct and it pops up at the lid margin, we call it as marginal chalazion. We can see here a granular nodule present at the lid margin, which may be presenting through the openings or orifices of the meibomian gland. This is the picture showing the marginal chalazion. You can see here there is a nodule or lesion at the lid margin, which is the popping up away from the lid margin, and this is smooth surface and it will be usually non-tender, and we have to treat this condition by means of surgical procedure, that is incision and curettage. The characteristic features of the chalazion includes it's a painless swelling which is present away from the lid margin and it's free from the skin and it moves freely under the skin. It's more common in children and adults and most frequently occurs in the people aged between 30 to 50, and they may be underlying refractive error and diabetic. We can see in this picture the histopathology of chalazion showing granulomatous inflammations with the lipid vacuoles, multinucleated giant cells and the lymphocytes and neutrophils and other fibrous tissue and fatty infiltration. So the pathophysiology of the chalazion is a non-suppurative granulomatous inflammatory reaction where there will be fibrous reaction with the lymphocyte, multinucleated giant cell infiltrations, and the precursor for this is the duct obstruction, and then gases of the lipid material that is produced in the glands, and then invasion by the slow inflammatory organisms causing inflammation. This can present on the conjunctival side on the lid margin, and when it's present on the lid margin we call it as marginal chalazion. Otherwise usually it's present on the under surface of the lid. So the granulomatous inflammation of the meibomian glands, most often it presents towards the conjunctiva side because the lesion is in the tarsal plate and the conjunctiva is the next structure, and towards the skin it rarely presents, When it presents towards the skin and the conjunctival side, both sides, we can call it as collar-stud lesions. If there is a blockage of the Zeus gland causing the similar granulomatous lesion, that's present usually on the skin side alone as a nodule appearance on the skin. This is called as granuloma of the Zeus glands. And most of times meibomian gland inflammation or nodules will present on the inside and appears on the conjunctival side on a version. That's why it is called as internal. These are the pictures and diagrams showing the granulomatous lesion involving the Zeus glands. When there is involvement of the Zeus glands and the Mal's glands, the lesions are mainly towards the skin side, and if it is the Zeus glands, it's away from the lid margin close to the air follicle will be there. If it is close in the meibomian, the Mal's gland lesion, it will be present on the lid margin. The chalazion differs from the stys or the hordeolum, in which there is a suppurative inflammatory reaction due to bacterial infection of the Zeus gland or the meibomian gland. But in these cases, it's a non-infective granulomatous inflammatory reaction with the lipid-laden granules, macrophages, lymphocytes, and the other chronic inflammatory cells with a fibrous reaction, unlike that of hordeolum internum, in which there will be suppurative lesion and pus is collected inside the bag of the or the sac of the meibomian glands. The course or the fate of the chalazion, if it is very small and if the conservative treatment is started and patient hygiene is good, and if the refractive error everything is corrected, and if there is no other predisposing factors, the lesion may regress and spontaneous resolution may occur with the steam therapy or the heart fomentation and massage to the lids. If the chalazions are multiple and big in size and is organized, it may not resolve simply as it is with a topical treatment or systemic treatment. At that time, if it is left untreated, it may go for the adenomatous changes like adenoma of the meibomian gland or the carcinoma of the adenocarcinoma of the meibomian gland. Otherwise, it will get infected, presenting as a hordeolum internum. Sometimes it bursts open from inside, giving rise to a cauliflower-like lesion on the conjunctival side, and very rarely it gets calcified to form a hard nodule in the lid, which doesn't get resolved. So the fate of the chalazion, it may undergo suppuration going for hordeolum internum, or it may undergo calcification, it may go neoplastic degeneration like adenoma, adenocarcinoma, or it can also land up in the cauliflower-like lesion due to bursting of the lesion through the conjunctival side. The clinical features of the chalazion, as we all already know, the lid swelling is a feature. It can be single or multiple. Usually the patients will notice these lesions when the eyelid is active in closure state in the upper lid, and lower lid also. When we close, the lid margins are pulled up. At that time, the lesion may appear as a smooth nodule in the eyelids, which can not be painful and tender, and this lesion may be one single or multiple, and it may disappear on looking up when it merges with the creases. Therefore, initially the patients may notice accidentally, otherwise it may be left unnoticed. And if in this stage, to identify if the finger is passed from one end of the lid to the other end, we can feel the nodule slipping under the finger. That's the method to identify the earliest chalazion lesions. The otherwise, when it becomes big, and the lesion definitely becomes a visible, and then it will be prominent elevation on the in the surface of the on the skin side of the lid, which is not having any inflammatory action, or the surface is not having any vascular abnormalities. Very rarely, the lesion may be big enough to cause pulling of the upper lid, and in which the ptosis, mechanical ptosis, can occur. And with that ptosis, the patient may have blurred vision, because if the lesion is against the cornea, pressure on the cornea causes astigmatic error. At that time, the patient may have the blurred vision, and as we know, there may be a fleshy mass if the lesion bursts opens and presents on the inside surface of the lid. The Calagian features, as we already discussed, the features of the Calagian are a small or single or multiple painless prominences in the surface of the skin when the patient is looking up or down, depending upon its position. It can be single in number or multiple in number, and usually on examination, the swelling is not able to be it can be palpated, but it slips under the skin, and the skin, when you pinch the skin, it's totally free from the skin. And there may be the recurrent attacks of the chalazion. This recurrent attacks is most often it's due to the patient's general debility, as in case of anemia, or the poor nutritional status of the individual, like malnutrition, and also the cases of poor hygienic status when they are not exposed to constant irritants like a dusty environment, or the infected conditions of the environment, and also in patients who are having uncorrected refractive errors and neoplastic disorders, and for which the immunosuppressive treatment is given. In diabetes mellitus untreated, all these people will have the immune compromised state, and they can have the recurrent attacks of the chalazion. The diagnosis of the chalazion basically depends upon the history and also the clinical examination. We have taken the history, that is the painless swelling which started and is progressive increase in size, or with the associated the multiple number of lesions have been existed, like that we have taken the history, and then look for the general condition where there is some predisposing factors are there, and also local examination will reveal that lesion is in the firm plate of the lid, that's in the tarsal plane, and also it is free from the skin, and on eversion of the conjunctiva you can see there is a bluish discoloration of the stretched shiny conjunctiva over the lesion. These are the characteristic features of the chalazion by which we can diagnose the chalazion. It may be presenting towards the lid margin as a marginal chalazion, and if it is the granuloma involved in the Zeus gland, we call it as external chalazion, which is present on the skin surface itself, and it's attached firmly to the skin. Any of the clinical conditions, after clinical examinations, following history, we have to conclude the cases by differentiating with the different differential possibilities. What are the possible differential diagnoses for the chalazion? The chalazion differential diagnosis may be one, it is the xanthelasma of the lid, in which there is a accumulation of the fatty fibrofatty tissue in the sweat glands of the lid, which presents as yellowish multiple nodular lesions, and they are not vascularized, painless. and they are present in association with the diabetes or hypercholesterolemia, needs um, need a treatment. If the individual is cosmetically wanted, then we can do excision of these lesions. The other differential diagnosis for the chalazion could be foreign body granuloma. For example, if the individual has met with any the accident or the road traffic the trauma of the professional trauma, as in farmer, there may be some foreign body which has got into the lid and causing granulomatous lesions, and the here the history plays a great role following the foreign body injury to the eye. If this lesion has appeared and then it's a progressing, then it could be foreign body granuloma. Following history, clinical examination will say that what is the nature of the lesion, and then its differential features from that of the chalazion will help us to diagnose the foreign body granuloma. It could be fungal granuloma in the lid, which is present as a nodule, that also needs to be clinical evaluation done, and then after clinical evaluation, if we take the slides and then present it for cytological and histopathological examination and stains, then we can confirm the fungal granuloma. And then it could be a case of adenoma of the lacrimal meibomian gland. Thus, this is usually a slow growing non-malignant neoplastic state of the meibomian gland, in which the lesion is similar to that of the chalazion, but it recurs following the treatment, and then in the same site, then we can think that it could be adenoma of the gland, meibomian gland. And then it could be adenocarcinoma, wherein the adenocarcinoma is seen in the elderly people, is similar to presentation as that of the chalazion, but again the characteristic feature is repeated recurrences of the lesion at the same site. And in addition to this, we can find the lesion during surgery, the different texture from that of the normal chalazion, and also these lesions are vascular, and then bleeding may be more than that of the chalazion, and then histopathology is a confirmative diagnosis for these cases. The treatment of the chalazion includes the various methods, that could be conservative method and treatment of the provocative factors, and also treatment of the present lesion. The chalazion usually tends to recover by itself, because by history, whenever we examine the patient, they may say they had similar lesions about 3 months back, 6 months back, stayed for 15 days, 20 days, and slowly it resolved. It may be in the same site or in the different site of the eyelids. So that's how it may resolve by itself without any treatment. But in addition to that, the spontaneous resolution, we can enhance the spontaneous resolution by giving warm compresses or giving a face steam bath, in which the lids are heated up, and because of that there will be increase in the blood circulation to the lids, and because of that also the glands and the ducts will get a good blood supply. The ducts will start opening. Once the glands gets opened, the obstructed duct, which is causing granulomatous reaction, will drain off the stagnated material and may get cleared. So, and also following the steam bath, we can give a gentle expressive massage to the eyelids. How expressive massage is given to the eyelid is that, ask the patient to look down, use both the index fingers, gently you express the contents from the tarsal glands downwards towards the lid margin. Similarly, for the lower lid, ask the patient to look up, and after giving steam bath, and gently express the contents of the lid from the base of the lid to the margin by using 2 index fingers. That's how we can do the regular prophylactic measures to prevent or to treat the chalazion. As I have already told you, the warm compress or the steam bath to the eyelids are very effective in resolving the chalazion, or if there is a chronic pneumonitis to treat that, also it is beneficial, and also it will help in prevention of the further onset of the chalazions, and also the recurrence of the lesion from the same site following treatment, in which we give the soaking of the soaked cotton, hot cotton, or the small kerchief onto the eyelids over the lesion, and then after giving a heat bath or steam to the local area, and we would like to express out by means of the massage to the lids. Gentle massage to the eyelids following the steam bath or warm compress. Also without steam bath also it helps in keeping the glands expressed and prevents the chalazion from recurrences, and also multiple chalazions, recurrent or multiple chalazions. The many people following uh, the any eye conditions, there is a tendency for the patients to go to the medical stores and ask for the medicines to treat the all the conditions of the eye. They will take the treatment, which is wrong, but it is done. What will they do? They'll give some ointment, eye ointments, eye drops, and the medicated eye pads to keep over the eyelids, and thereby the over counter treatments also may be benefited sometimes. If the individual the medical store people have given the wrong medicines, we can also find the complications of the over the counter medications. That's why we should advise the patients who comes to us not to use the over the counter medicines. The main treatment for the chalazion is the surgery. When all the above procedures, the conservative line of management, over the counter medicines, and all the other treatment fails, then we have to decide for the surgery. Otherwise, if the chalazion is big and it appears to be totally thickly encapsulated and it's not resolving to medications, then also we can think of doing surgery. The other indications, calcified chalazions should be treated by surgery only. What is the surgical procedure done is? Surgical procedure done for the chalazion is incision curettage. The procedure here is, it has to be done from the conjunctival side, because if you go from the skin side, the cosmetic appearance of the cosmetic disfigurement of the lid will be there, because vertical scar will leave the tractions or the rugaes on the surface of the lid. Because of that, the individual's appearances will be altered. So if you do the surgical incision on the conjunctival side, the scar will be invisible, and also it will not cause puckering. The one more important point what we have to take, another point, is that we should not extend the incision up to the lid margin. While putting the incision onto the conjunctival lesion in the under surface, if the incision extends up to the lid margin, the margin of the lid will get apart and then gives an arching, which will be permanent unless until if the complication is identified on the table and then sutured immediately. If not, it can give rise to permanent notching, giving a picture of partial thickness coloboma to the eyelid. The complications of untreated chalazion. If the chalazion is left not untreated, I have already enumerated what all things will happen. We have seen already. Likewise, if the chalazion is left untreated, it can land up in the following complications. The tumor may increase in size, causing the dragging of the lids, upper lid ptosis, lower lid uh, eversion of the lid margin causing ectropia. And then lid, it can present through the conjunctival surface as the surface gets broken in the form of the cauliflower like lesion, which may get confused with that of the tuberculosis or the epithelium of the conjunctiva, or we may get confused with that of the fungal pathological lesions in the eyelid. So that may be the appearance when it gets eroded and causing granulomatous lesion on the in the under the surface of the conjunctiva. And it can undergo secondary infection, and then it present as a hordeolum internum, or it can present as a acute the preceptal cellulitis or cellulitis of the eyelids and conjunctival granulomas. And also it can present as the cellulitis of the eyelids. As it causes a mechanical pressure on the eyelid, it can give rise to astigmatic error. Because of that, the individual may suffer with from headache and then the distorted vision. These are the examples of the untreated chalazions. If it is left untreated, you can see the lesion, the chalazion, external chalazion has got infected and presenting as a painful suppurative mass in the lid. And this, if it is left untreated, it can also go for cellulitis of the lid. Here in the other picture we can see there is the lid lesions which has become the inflammation has become diffuse from the main lesion here and causing cellulitis of the lid. And this cellulitis, if it is left untreated, can give rise to cellulitis of the orbit and also cellulitis cavernous sinus thrombosis. Such complications also can be anticipated if it is left untreated. That's why it's very important to explain the nature of the lesion and progress of the lesion and complications to the patient, and treat in the right time, whatever the method that's suitable for that particular patient, so we can treat accordingly. Complications of surgery. If the surgical procedure is to be done properly, wherein we have done incision and curettage and see that there is no granular material is left behind, and the sac of the lesion is totally empty, otherwise we may have to excise the sac also sometimes. With this, there will be total cure of the lesion. Sometimes if it is left like that, the scarring of the pathology can give rise to distortion of the lid margin and give rise to trichiasis. Or if the chalazion is not completely treated, it can recur as a fast growing big mass in the lid, and this can cause prolapse through the conjunctiva or the skin, and giving rise to disfiguring, cosmetically disfiguring, as well as the problematic lesion in the future. That's why the treatment should be complete at the time of treatment. These are the pictures showing the pressure of the lid onto the cornea. When there is a big lesion, it will cause a constant pressure onto the lid cornea, because the weight of the lid is so much and it cannot be easily lifted up as in normal conditions. Because of that constant pressure, cornea will get indented and corneal curvature will get distorted and will get astigmatic error. So prevention of the chalazion, if the individual is known to be prone for recurrent attacks, in those individuals we have to take a special interest and give a special advice. Otherwise, in general, prevention of the chalazion includes the general hygiene of the patients, wherein the normal washing of the eye and the face with warm water, and then keeping the eyelids frequently massaged can prevent the onset of the chalazion. If the individuals are having any uncorrected refractive errors, it should be attended immediately, so that the if unattended refractive errors can be the cause for chalazion. When there is a refractive error, individual tries to look into the object with the closed lids. When they attempt to view the things with the narrowed slit, there will be distortion to the ducts of the glands because of that stasis, and then aggregation aggregation of the stasis material causing the blocking of the ducts can be the cause for pathogenesis. That's why refractive error should be attended if it is present. And the eye should be protected from the dust and air pollution by wearing sunglasses and frequent washing of the eyes if it is inevitable. And also, if the individual are using the makeups, if that could be the cause for the presentation of the chalazion, that should be periodically changed, and contamination can be avoided. And correction of the refractive errors, I have already told you. When the other predisposing factors like diabetes and immune compromised status all should be attended, so that the patients will not suffer from recurrent attacks. If the deficiencies are the mainstay of the recurrences, we have to attend for the deficiencies. It may be protein calorie malnutrition, or it may be vitamin A deficiency alone, or any of the deficiency like vitamin D deficiency, vitamin B12 deficiency. All are known to cause the meibomian and then meibomian gland chalazion. It's very important to attend to the systemic predisposing factors and local predisposing factors, and the advice to the subjects. Questions: what is chalazion? Chalazion is a non-infective granulomatous fibro-fatty lesion in the meibomian glands. Why it is called as hailstone or compared to the hailstone? Because when the hailstone drops into the floors, we can't pick it up very easily, it slips under the finger. That's why similarly this lesion also, when we palpate through the skin, it is freely slipping from the skin. That's why it is called as the hailstone. And differential diagnosis for the chalazion is the all the lesions which I have explained as chalazion, odylum, external chalazion, or it could be foreign body granuloma or adenoma or adenocarcinoma, or fungal nodule or tubercular nodule, or epithelium of the conjunctival mucosa. What is the treatment for this condition? Treatment is for chalazion is incision curettage, and all the measures what we have to take while doing the incision curettage I have already explained to you. Thank you all for your patient attention. Hope you all know what is chalazion, and how to prevent the recurrences, and how to manage if you come across cases of chalazion. And take off message is that, and then whenever there is a chalazion, we have to look into the local predisposing factors and systemic factors, and also the treatment modalities available for the chalazion. Thank you for your patient hearing.